Welcome to 1856 First Church, Pella, Iowa podcast.
Hello and welcome to the First Church podcast. This is Breanne, and Pastor Bob isn't with me today, but I have our very own Pastor Mike Melody. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm trying to pivot from preaching Sunday to preaching Sunday, and this is just like outside of my normal routine of things. So, yeah, it's good. I'm great.
Feels like all of December feels a little bit out of sync. We're all doing different things. Like last night, there was the staff consistory party that Pastor Bob and Patty always host to bless us, which was wonderful.
Did you have fun?
I did have fun. It was a Monday evening, but I felt like it was a Friday. Did it not feel like Friday to you?
It did feel a little Friday-ish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pastor Bob, I thought the salad was phenomenal.
It was awesome. He's a very good cook. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And before the salad, there's charcuterie, and on the charcuterie was pickled mushrooms.
Ooh.
Did you have any?
I didn't. Pastor Bob is always known for having a very full meal, so I did not fill up on the appetizers.
Okay.
It's like not filling up on bread.
Eat any of the appetizers?
I didn't. No,
Wow.
I was waiting for the main course.
Well, before the meal, I was very impressed with your daughter, Nora, who tried a pickled mushroom.
She did. Well, she likes mushrooms.
And afterwards, because of some conversations I had with Ryland and Bo Chapman, Bo tried one. He didn't like it, but I told him he got man points for trying it.
Nice.
Ryland refused. He would not do it. So I told him he got negative man points.
Negative man points.
And then Nora tried it without even my urging. And she said, "How many woman points do I get?" Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. She's more my adventurous one.
This was her first time serving at one of these things.
It was, yes. Yep. She rose her hand emphatically when I asked who would be wanting to help serve, which Pastor Bob always asks for kids of people that are in consistory or staff to help. And so it was, I loved her enthusiasm for wanting to serve, and Ryland too. He was getting to be quite the giant, had to duck his head a little bit sometimes through the doorway.
Nora seemed very happy to be doing it.
Oh, she
Ryland
was.
has done it a few times.
He has, yep. So as they're coming up in the ranks and such, so I had to have a babysitter at home, so I told Pastor Bob, it was almost like we were doing trading cards. I can give you a Ryland and a Nora.
Yeah.
So
that Elena and Adelaide could stay home?
Well, Adelaide ended up having her own Christmas party because she's a working woman,
Sanctuary.
you know.
Yeah,
They had that. So
I did hear that.
She was blessed by that and had a wonderful time with those ladies. And so Elena, she stepped up to the plate.
Awesome.
It's nice. When you do get older kids, I never thought I'd ever leave the house ever again when I started having children. But when they get older, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm 3 babysitters deep. I can
praise the Lord.
Take off. So, and you have also seen the fruits of that too. You get to use my children sometimes.
Yeah. We have a deep well of babysitters, and yet there's
That's
still
awesome.
times when we can't find one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the salad was phenomenal. Charcuterie was very good. I had root beer, and that was enjoyable as well. But the main course, deep dish pizza from Giordano's.
I could just hear you over there, just your lips smacking.
Yeah. Growing up, I really did not eat deep dish that often. Even though we're in the suburbs of Chicago, there's great like pub style pizza. But it was always a treat when we'd get it.
Yeah, no, it is. Chicago style pizza is great. Well, and Pastor Bob had blessed us as a staff one time. Do you remember that? We went to Des Moines for a meeting.
I do.
And we went there. How do you say that restaurant again?
Giordano's.
Yeah, Giordano's.
I think that was August
of
2024.
Okay, could be, yeah.
Yeah.
It was delicious, and it was delicious last night, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we played games.
We did play games.
How'd you like the games, Breanne?
You guys brought the fun, and I'm still having nightmares, Mike.
So for the games yesterday, the first game was a Bible search game. Do you remember what the sentence was?
Well, I do remember an Alex word in there. Was it alluring? No,
Assuredly.
Alluding. Assuredly. That's what it was.
Actually, that was a me word.
That was you.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, we were trying to land on the right word, but we wanted the punchline to be the last word. So the sentence that people found different words to fill in blanks was, the manger was assuredly loaded.
Which I also thought was funny because those who heard your announcements called Grandma Millie's play The Loaded Manger when it was actually The Loaned Manger.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, was it not? They did a great job, the kids, and Grandma Millie always wrangling up the kids. No pun intended, since it was a Western theme.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before this. Hannah and I went with our boys. We had Judah in the stroller because otherwise he would be all over the place. Michael could only handle so much. And it was awesome for what we saw. Michael loved every time that Garrett Zylstra was on stage or talking.
He was funny.
You were talking about Boaz Wiellander and how fun he was to watch.
He was definitely in his element. He loves to sing and act, I think. He was doing all the actions.
Yes, all the actions. He was emotive too. And then later in the show, Hazel was kind of losing her composure a little bit, and Boaz stood next to her and rubbed her back as she finished her lines.
Trying to get her to calm down. Yeah,
He's a team player.
He was a team player, yes. I also appreciate the team player, Gabe Kozarich, who joined.
Yeah, and we weren't there at that point, but Gabe Kozarich was a surprise.
Yeah, he was a surprise appearance. So probably once upon a time, he may have been in the children's choir, but Grandma Millie asked him to come back and because they needed a more older figure, as she put it.
Yeah.
So to be an adult in the play. So anyway, I thought it went really well and always a good time. And love all of the dad jokes in there.
Yeah. I love the punch afterwards too.
Yeah.
That punch is always delicious.
Yeah. It's fun. It's just a good time to be together. But other things that we celebrate on Sunday, actually that morning, we celebrated new partners in mission.
Yep.
Added to the
Judith
family.
DeVries and Chad and Elizabeth DeGraff.
Yes, and then they had their daughter, youngest, baptized, and it just was a beautiful morning just to see more family.
Sparrow.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's a beautiful name. I liked that. I hadn't gotten a chance to ask her.
Sister to Iris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Beautiful family.
They are a beautiful family. So, yeah, we were glad to see them become partners in mission. And we also had some audience participation on Sunday. Do you remember? I asked everyone to pass the Christmas Eve cards down the aisle because
brilliant.
We're supposed to invite people. So if you are listening, there are still cards in the office. 6 o'clock, candlelight service. We don't go halfway on this. I mean, we have legit candles, except for the kids, right? The kids now have battery operated ones.
I don't know. This is a staff meeting point of contention for me because I'm a big fan of real candles.
I know. I like the real candles too.
However, it seems like everyone's getting fake candles this year. That's at least my most recent understanding. I don't really get involved in the details. I put in my vote. I like real candles, but past that.
I just think it is beautiful.
Yeah. I know. It
nice.
is really special.
Mm-hmm. I do. Our Christmas Eve service is just so worshipful, and I'm just thankful we have great choir and lots of music and nice sermon. I mean, it's just a wonderful time together.
Yeah, I look forward to Adelaide's solo at the Christmas
Yes,
Eve
I heard
service.
that she will be singing a song, and so she's been practicing. And
yeah, if you're listening today, go listen to Noel by Lauren Daigle, and Breanne Patel will be singing that song.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing her. So
and Boaz Wiellander again has a solo with the choir.
Yes, exactly.
Praise the Lord.
It will be really neat to sing with him.
Yeah.
Always doing that. Patrick's doing a great job leading the choir again. A lot of good music.
Yeah.
So don't miss out, folks. And bring your family. If you've got family in town, there's always room.
There is. Yeah, we'll make it work.
That's right. Well, I suppose we could get into your sermon now. So last 2 weeks of Advent, Alex Foley had preached on hope and peace. And now you were tasked with joy, and then next week, love. And the question each of week that you guys have brought is, why did Jesus come? So week 1 was to be with you, the Son of Man came. Week 2, it was to die instead of the Son of Man came. And then last week, it was to show us how to live, the Son of Man came. And so you'll have to give us a little insight to next week. But at the end, we'll leave it for the end.
I switched it up a little bit when I was introducing those.
Yeah?
I said the first week was to be with me. and then going on, and then to this week, Jesus came to show me how to live instead of us how to live.
Well,
That's
we
just
could take it
because
personal.
yeah, I
want
want to take it personal. That's kind of why I switched it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, you took us to Mark 10,
Yes.
verses 32 to 45. And you said this, Jesus, came to show us how to live. And in preparation for this week, you had said, what does it mean to live for something? So what did you come up with? What does it mean to live for something?
It involves direction, sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Identity. It kind of forms your identity, and success and failure. What you define success versus failure as?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the direction is like the compass of your life.
Uh-huh.
The identity it helps inform who you are if you're living for it.
Yeah.
Success and failure. I think I used money and recognition as two different contrasting examples.
Yeah, you had a whole list, which everybody can relate to. Living for marriage, money, fame, power, recognition, retirement, your next vacation.
Yeah.
So there's a variety of things
For
that
the weekend.
Or for the
Some people
weekend.
live for the weekend.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very short-term goal.
Yeah.
So, when I think about living for something, I usually think about what is my purpose. And so as I was preparing for today, as I was thinking about your question on what to live for, which led me to purpose, made me think of, do you remember the book that you guys handed out as the family ministry, as the shorter Westminster Catechism, Training Hearts and Training Minds?
Yes.
By Star Mead.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in there, the first question is, what is man's primary purpose? And so man's primary purpose is to glorify God and to enjoy him forever. And so depending on your catechism version, slightly different. But how would you, with someone's, life, or how would you describe someone's life if it were to look as if they were living with that purpose in mind?
To glorify God and enjoy him forever. It would be fully focused on that goal. And so your purpose, your compass is going to be directed toward glorifying God. Every one of your actions should be done in light of that. And when you stray from the path, which we all do stray from the path, even if we have a clear purpose, it helps put you back on the path. I've just found myself this week, especially as I'm preaching this to people, but also to myself, and thinking about living for Jesus as a purpose. It's like, oh shoot, I'm getting prideful right now. And it's immediately resulted in awareness of sin. I've strayed from the path, and then response is, Lord, kill my pride. The song we sing in church once in a while, Christ be all, really strikes me. It says, Christ be all and I be nothing. Yeah. His glory shines.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
And that kind of has been a recurring prayer for me, even as I am aware of some things in my life that help me get on the path again, Lord, if I stray off.
Yeah, it's a constant walk.
Yeah.
On the path.
Yeah.
I tease, Stephen and I joke that raising children is like a game of whack-a-mole.
Oh, that's funny.
Keeping them on the path.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, okay. So in the sermon here, you had walking to his death is one of the titles here. So verses 32 through 34 in Mark. And so you had us read that, in which he is walking ahead of his disciples on his journey. Yeah. So why was that so significant in this sermon for living like Jesus?
I think the fact that he's ahead of them really communicates his resolve. It's not like he's lagging behind as he's looking toward Jerusalem. It's not like he's dreary and begrudging and slowly walking, but he's leading the way. And despite the fact that they didn't comprehend, the last time Jesus foretells his death is in, I believe, Mark 9. And it says the disciples didn't understand what he was saying. But they understood some, and they understood that he had opposition awaiting him. And they understood that there was danger that awaited him. And so Jesus is ahead of them. He's resolved as he approaches Jerusalem because he knows what he's going there for.
Mm.
And he knows that what he's going there for is going to be a painful thing, a terribly painful thing, but it's a painful thing that's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about him being omniscient. So, I
Yeah.
mean, he knew what he was walking towards and he
Yeah.
knew what was going to happen. And then you'd also led us into, Jesus was telling them that those who followed him to tell them that they would know, but also to give an example to them of what it means to live like him. And yeah, I thought that was interesting. If you go ahead of somebody, you're leading the way. It's a discipleship relationship. You're leading the way. So you took us to Hebrews 12, 1 through 2 to add particularly verse 2. And, you said, looking to Jesus, the, founder and perfecter of our faith.
Who for the joy set before him.
Yeah. Endure the cross. So joy was set before Jesus as he walked toward Jerusalem to die.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, most people wouldn't put those two together.
No.
So here, why is that, I guess, so profound that he did that with joy?
I've always struggled. Romans and James both put this thing before us where it's like, when trial and suffering comes, rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean? What does it mean to rejoice in trial? What does it mean to rejoice maybe when like you're experiencing the immediate aftermath of a miscarriage? Like how do you look at that and rejoice? And I've just processed through this recently. And I don't think it's a season of like happiness. I do think it's a season of thanksgiving, that you have to consciously continue to be thankful. And Psalm 13 actually kind of helps reiterate that, which I mentioned later in the sermon, of what rejoicing looks like amidst anguish.
Yeah.
And so Jesus is in anguish. There's no doubting that, but he is joyous up before him.
Yeah, it reminds me, Arlene Rodas in my Women of the Word group.
Yeah.
And she always says that whenever she struggles with something, she thanks God for what he has done, what he is doing, what he will be doing. And I think that to me is just, that gave me such hope during my trials too, was just leaning into that because he will take something out of that.
Yeah.
And how are we going to grow? So I've appreciated those words of wisdom. So we had talked about the third candle of Advent is labeled joy. So how does this verse, so you kind of had talked about that, how can we live in our daily lives joyfully?
I think that part of what I just said, with joy, especially in times of suffering, is when we look back, it's easier to be joyful, to see the purpose of the suffering and see that it had one. But how can we live in our daily lives? We have to be filled with the Spirit. Being sin-free and continuing to strive to resemble Christ is necessary to not quench the Spirit. But as we have the Spirit, and the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy and peace and so on, living by the Spirit is living with joy. It's not like this unfathomable, unreachable kind of nebulous thing. We have to live by the Spirit. We have to consistently rely on the Spirit to resemble Jesus more and more day by day. We have to continually turn from sin. We're going to mess up, but we have to not stray from the path, but return to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunday, you had said, Jesus came into the world to bring joy and is coming back to bring joy. And you had quoted Spurgeon saying, he put it this way: Christ resolved to save us was stronger than death itself. And yeah, if we live in that, what you're saying is we should be the most joyful people on earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he was so committed to saving us that even death couldn't stop him.
Yeah. You had given several examples around like servicemen, like firefighters and military. And I don't remember where or who said this, but when you sign up to serve, you're basically saying, I laid down my life for someone I don't even know.
Yeah.
Which I thought was good examples that you brought. So when the firefighter example or the other thing, I mean, how is that for us an example on how to live like Jesus?
Well, it's just an admirable calling and demonstration for us that gives a good example of what it looks like. I mean, if you look at a soldier and they're saying, I will lay down my life for the people of my country, that's exactly what Jesus did. He laid down his life for his father's children. And I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a really great example. So we need to be like soldiers following Jesus, soldiers in the Lord's army, and take that same oath. It's like the Christ followers' oath instead of the soldier's oath, to say, I'm willing to lay down my life if that's what God demands of me for Christ's sake.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Listening or knowing that people do that for us. So in light of that, you had given us something more of a challenge. You listed as a question to consider, but I looked at it more of as a challenge. Is what am I holding back from God?
Yeah.
So if you were to ask that of someone, how would you encourage them or coach them through the process of knowing what they might be holding back?
Like I think I mentioned two things. You might be holding back specific sin, sin that you have not relented to the Lord, and that you can't stay there. You have to release that to the Lord. But then secondary, if you're living for something like the weekend or retirement, sometimes living for something means not living for something else. And if that's kind of replacing the throne of God, the pursuit of Christ in your life, that's your driving force, you're holding back something from God. And what you're holding back is releasing some desire that you might have. And so there's a later question, like, what's the deepest desire of my heart? That's a really revealing question when you consider it. Is the deepest desire of your heart for something holy from the Lord and in pursuit of Christ, or is it for something materialistic? Or
Sure. Yeah, I think, as we reflect on it, it is very telling. I think our prayers are also telling in where that is. And so I think it's always good, a little bit like we were saying, to keep us on the path, to be in check. So I like how you had the bulletin, you had an insert, so you had these different sections. And so you called this next section his cup and baptism, which covered verses 35 through 41.
Yeah.
And so here they boldly basically ask, teacher, we want you to do whatever we ask of you.
Yeah.
And I thought this was interesting, them boldly asking that. Jesus is omniscient, so he already knows probably what they're going to ask. Not probably, they do. And you said that Jesus probably was a little annoyed during this time and asked, what do you want me to do for you? Yeah. And then they said about sitting one at his right hand and one at his left hand. So what is the significance of these verses here?
I mean, for me, I read it, and as I read through it a few times, I was like, I think that they wanted to ask this question before Jesus even did the other thing.
Okay.
The other thing being him predicting his death. I think that James and John were having side conversations, we need to approach him. We need to ask this so that we can pursue the thing that we desire. And then they do it right after he talks about his death. And so the significance of the verses is Jesus gives this example of self-giving. He's going to give himself for others, and then they come back immediately after. And it's all about me. It's all about my position and authority. And Jesus clearly had just said, that's not what awaits me. The glory that you envision is not the glory that awaits me. And so then Jesus leads into a reminder of what he had just said. He's going toward his death, and so he says the cup and baptism. They respond the way they respond. We can handle that cup. He says, you will. And the word baptism there, it's a powerful word. It's a powerful word because it's not this like simple thing. It's like it gives the imagery of a full immersion, a submerging into water that is the submerging into the suffering of Christ when we follow him.
Yeah.
That the call is not just for James and John, but it's for all of us. And in the bulletin, I said, Jesus is saying, my followers will suffer and die. Are you willing to do this for me? That's the call to us. I think that's really the significance there.
What does it mean to want to sit at his right hand and his left hand?
Oh, when they're asking that?
Yeah, I was just curious. Like,
they want to rule. They want authority. They want status. They want recognition. Just like amongst the others, they want a seat above the rest of the 10.
Okay.
Is how I understand that.
And then just for people listening, what is James and John's relationship to Jesus besides being disciples?
Well, they're brothers. They're closest friends. And I didn't mention this, but in the prior chapter, the transfiguration happens. So this is like shortly after they had just seen Jesus in glory, Jesus shining bright, and only a few disciples were up there, James, John, and Peter. They witnessed this of Jesus, and here, a chapter later, they're asking to be seated next to him. So closest disciples to Jesus. I think it's significant that James is mentioned before John here. It says James and John, not John and James. James is the older brother of John. He's known as James the Great in church history. And yeah, that's all worth considering.
Yeah, no, I thought that was interesting too, just those two and the relationship. And
yeah, well, and John is obviously a gospel writer too. Mark is known as Peter's gospel. So it's understood that John Mark wrote the Gospel of Mark, but Peter was the one giving him the story. Because in our understanding of Scripture, we don't see that John Mark was present there with Jesus during these happenings. So somebody must have told him what was happening.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you kind of a reflection question, because as you were talking about, Jesus, he was telling them, you're going to have to come with me and suffer.
Yeah.
So is there ever an example in your life that you can give that, where God said no to something that you desired?
I don't know if probably, I off the top of my mind, I don't know. What I can think of is when I was in high school, this really hard decision came forth and I had to choose to transfer schools. I was a follower of Jesus who I describe in my testimony as like not following Jesus. I believed that I was saved. I wasn't growing. I was sinning and reading my Bible every day. So it was like this weird season where I was heavily convicted of sin in my life. I knew that I needed to separate from my friends, and I knew that I didn't have the strength to do it. So sophomore year going into junior year, I made the decision to transfer schools. And as a result, I lost every one of my friends because I told them why. When I made this decision, I told my baseball coach, he said, and I told him why. He wasn't, for what I know, a follower of Christ. But I told him why. I wrote him a letter. I'm saying, like, I'm sinning. I'm doing things that I need to control myself and can't control myself if I stay here. And so I need to transfer. And he said, thank you for letting me know. I respect your decision. I want you to read this letter to your team. I was like, oh, no. But I did. I read the letter to my team. And these were my best friends that I was saying I need to get away from. And they all cast me out. And so that was really hard. It was suffering in a way for the sake of my faith at the time, because I knew I couldn't handle anything else. And the Lord blessed me through it and allowed growth to start happening. And I didn't become perfect or anything, but less and less I was sinning. And more the Spirit was filling me because I was no longer quenching him.
Sure. Yeah. So, as you say, the Spirit was filling you, you were sinning less. Is that the only measure of the growth and the joy in Christ? Or?
No, but it was certainly it was hampering my growth. and getting in the way of the growth. So
Okay.
once sin was removed, growth was able to flourish a little bit more.
Okay.
And so character growth could happen. Growth in discretion and wisdom and understanding of Scripture and thirst for God could happen. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty bold as a high school student.
Yeah, I don't know. The Lord enabled me to be bold. The Lord convicted my heart enough for me to move. Because on my own, like, sin was enjoyable. So why stop?
Right, exactly. Well, that was a great example.
Wow.
And you said you didn't have anything off the top of your head.
Well, you asked, yeah, but you asked if I ever gave, I don't know, yeah.
That's all right. Okay, so anyway, so moving on. So you also had the next section is his life as a ransom, which covered in Mark 10, we're still there, verses 42 through 45.
Yes.
And here you had a chart that compared worldly greatness to Jesus's greatness. So along those lines, can you give practical ways to live like in Jesus's greatness with your list that you have here? You had kind of categories of back and forth, but I didn't know if you had some examples that we could add to them.
Yeah, well, it is impossible to resemble Jesus perfectly, and yet that's exactly what we strive to do. And so, practical ways to resemble Jesus' greatness is to reject the worldly greatness, to take the example of James and John as something not to do, but also an example that reveals something about us that's real. And so James and John are looking for status and power. And then Jesus goes into this example of, like, here's what the Gentiles do. And he's directly talking to James and John because that's exactly what they're looking for. Status and power. Gentiles have authority and lord it over their people. And then he talks about their great ones. And so practically what we have to do is discern within ourselves what do we view as great? But deeper than that, what's the desire of my own heart? And what does that reveal about, like, what I view as great? And sometimes I mentioned this, it's not always bad things. Sometimes it's good things. It's good to get out of debt if that's a desire of yours. It's good to own a house. But if that's the deepest desire, the motivating force, there's something misplaced. Worldly greatness looks for power and control, platform and status, praise and recognition, possessions and security, and pleasure and self-endurance. And Jesus is just the opposite of all of that. It's discomfort rather than comfort.
Right.
In a worldly measure.
Well, I do find comfort in the fact of these men who Jesus called to follow him as his disciples and that were like the closest to him. And yet they still messed up and made these examples for us in the Bible to be better. And Jesus still chose.
Well, they sure do.
Yeah.
And the Gospel of Mark, a theme in the Gospel of Mark is the disciples' stupidness. I probably wouldn't use that word on a Sunday morning, but they're like idiocracy almost. They're airheads. They're just not making good decisions consistently. And then you get to Acts and you see this stark change. The Holy Spirit fills them. They're pursuing Christ and still they mess up. Peter in I think it's the Second Council of Jerusalem is a really good example of this. It's like he has reverted on the vision the Lord has given him before his meeting with Cornelius. He's reverted on it because it's comfortable. It's like, well, maybe circumcision should be enforced. But no, they're consistently failing. And I find that encouraging too. It's not encouraging to say, like, oh, I should fail. I should feel okay about failing. But it's encouraging to know that followers of Jesus aren't perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but yet we still pursue him, strive to be like him.
Yeah. So in the end, kind of a summary a little bit of the sermon around joy is, so in what ways is the cross. So of Jesus here, both a means and a model for us and how we should live.
It equips us. That's how it's a means. I mean, it equips us to live as such. And then it's a model because Jesus gives us the example of the sermon was, Jesus shows me how to live. And living like Jesus means giving all of myself for him and others, no matter the cost. And so we look at what he did and we try to do it ourselves. Because to follow him means to follow his ways.
Yeah.
And to follow how he did life. Next week, so this ultimately came out of Jesus came not to be served, but to serve, which is Mark 10:45. Next week, the topic that I've been given is Jesus came to be my servant, which is a wild thought. But it comes out of 10:45. It says he came to serve. And so it will go almost in a totally different direction next week with if Jesus came to serve, that means that for me, I need to rely on God's providence, that God will provide, that he'll meet my needs, and to consider all of the needs that I have, not the desires, but the needs, and consider that they'll be met by God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I went there, but it's because I just
really
got
curious,
out of study.
Because, with the fourth Sunday being on love. So
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting. So
I feel like I need
wild,
to mention this.
Yeah.
I messed up and switched joy and love, and Pastor Bob just texted me that next week is joy.
Well, either way.
Maybe
I guess
I'll still focus on love because I focused on joy this week.
Yes, I mean, I guess we can. We could just insert love where joy was here. No.
Yeah, right.
But no, all good. And we're definitely looking forward to Sunday again. And Mike will hopefully join me here on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
But, as we've been talking, I thought we should round back to the announcements because you asked me about if I enjoyed the games at the consistory and staff. And I said, I'm still having nightmares. And I don't want people to think it was a bad night.
Yes.
You want to tell them about the game, Mike? Or the reason I have nightmares?
Well, I did tell them about the first game.
Yes,
the loaded manger. But the second game,
that was nothing. It
was
became
like
men against women, right?
Yes.
It was the whole games. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex and I were really trying to convince the men and women that they were against each other and that we didn't have a plan for them. But the plan was that they would be really close at the end. So the last game would seriously matter. And Alex came up with an idea that I was very much in favor of, which was to choose the contestants of the last game without them knowing we chose them.
Yes.
So we put all of the names in a hat and pre-select the ones that we would choose. We told them afterwards to escape any guilt that we might feel. So we chose my wife, Hannah, Breanne, Pastor Bob, and Tim Koslerich.
Yes.
And Breanne went first.
Yes, I was brave, I guess.
Yeah. During the game, Alex took the 4 contestants out of the room. They would go through one at a time. And the game was that there was 7 items on a table covered up by something. We had buckets or traffic cones covering things. And underneath were general Christmas items. So you pick a bucket up, you're like, it's an ornament. The goal of the game was to go through as fast as possible, identify the item, and move on to the next one. Pastor Bob ultimately won.
I was mad that he beat me.
Yeah. Well, unbeknownst to the contestants, my head was underneath the 4th bucket.
Yes.
And the way we did this was we covered the entire thing with a tablecloth that was draping all the way over down to the ground. We separated the 2 tables, cut a hole in the middle of the tablecloth, and I put my head through it, and then it was covered with a bucket. So what occurred for Breanne was that she lifted the bucket, screamed, threw the bucket aside, moved over a little bit. I moved on. I did. And then she said, Mr. Melody.
I did. We had to name everything underneath. Yes. And I was like, I didn't want to be disqualified for not naming you.
And so she said, Mr. Melody.
I did. I had other words in my mind, but I chose that, Mr. Melody.
Yes. Afterwards, and Breanne was very startled. There's a video of it. If you want to see it, you can ask her husband. But afterwards, Mike Van Haften said, to me and Alex, it was good that you chose the people that participated. If I was selected, I would have punched Mike in the nose because he's military.
He
and
is military.
He has a reaction.
Yes. Well, my children, I also have a reaction. So you're lucky you did not get it.
Yeah.
Because my kids know not to scare me at home. Like they have earned themselves timeouts if they do, because I tend to also kind of flail or like, hit and not, yeah. So I essentially jumped back instead of forward, but
Praise the
I
Lord
thought
for
it
me.
was,
My
I
sake.
should have just put the bucket back over your head.
Well, afterwards, you did come up and mimic slapping me in the face.
I did. I was like, you
I don't know
stinker.
if that was caught on video, but
No, it was. Yes, unfortunately. I was like, you stinker. I don't like to be scared. So
that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And the reactions were incredible.
Yes.
Every reaction was good.
I do think Tim's was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Hannah's was great too. And Bob's. Bob just plowed through it.
He did. And I was so mad that he beat me. I was like, how did he go faster than me? So anyway, but no, all in good fun, and appreciated, Pastor Bob and Patty for hosting, and you and Alex for, doing the games. It's always, fun. I also believe that Breanne was made for that moment with the Bible verse searching.
Oh, she was incredible. She was so fast.
Man, she was fast.
Unreal.
She actually said that she did the Bible drills like we do with our kids in the Kids Quest, where they do the Bible drills.
Yeah.
She said that she grew up doing that too.
Yeah, we had some fun ones about how to find the words.
Yeah,
it was like
it
which
was
word
very
is used the
creative.
most times in this verse.
Yeah.
The longest word in this verse.
Uh-huh.
This word is the only word in this verse with a footnote.
Mm-hmm.
The only word that has 6 letters, and the last one was the 26th word in this
Yes.
verse.
No, it was fun. I always appreciate what you guys come up with. There's been some fun ones.
Well, Alex came up with them this year.
Well,
He
you
did a great
definitely participated in that.
Yeah, I was taking a second fiddle. And
Yeah,
intentionally so, because at the end, you didn't even notice that I wasn't in the room.
Which was funny is because I noticed a lot of people videotaping, and I did think that was really weird. And so now hindsight, I wish I would have paid attention more. But all in good fun. And I had told Alex, but you guys better be on the lookout. So anyway.
Well, the last thing about the sermon we didn't talk about is the story that it ended with.
Yes, that was that was hard to stomach as a parent.
I know. I stated what I was feeling during that. I said, I don't know what I would do in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I don't.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I do.
Mm-hmm. I think we all do. I know that in this case, so a summary of that story was the individual was asked to renounce Christ or his family would be killed.
Yeah.
And they just kind of went children to wife and then ultimately to him.
Yeah.
Then he would not renounce Christ. And I think about this because Adelaide actually debated somebody in her CC class, our homeschool group. And they had talked about, would you renounce, Christ if, you government takeover, whatever you want to put in there, and you had to do that. And it was interesting. Just listening to her tenacity, her logic, and asking questions and coming back around to that. I almost thought about inviting her on here to have her recap what she had come up with. But it is one of those things you hope that you would choose what he chose.
Yeah. Yeah. And presumably he was a young believer, which is even more admirable and surprising and stark. But yeah.
Yeah, so I'd encourage anybody, if you haven't listened to the sermon, go back out and take a look, and it's good reflection. I feel like you and Alex have definitely brought meat to the table instead of milk for these 4 weeks of Advent. Nothing fluffy for sure.
I have one more to do.
That's right. So we'll
watch
look
out
forward
for
to
the
that.
fluff.
I don't know if all that'll happen.
Yeah.
Anything else for Sunday? I mean, you're preaching, and I think it's a
you
normal
know what?
Sunday, isn't it?
I got on stage at 10:23 on Sunday. And in my run-throughs of the sermon beforehand, they were 50 minutes long each time. Now, I did it under 35.
You did.
But I was like, oh, no. I'm going to have to go quickly through my handout and figure out what to cut out on the fly.
Sure.
It worked out.
Well, it was a big Sunday. We had partners mission, baptism.
Yeah.
And you wanted to help out, make sure choir got in.
Yes, absolutely. But praise the Lord. I don't think anything
Mhm.
unique for this Sunday.
Good.
I'm excited for Sunday. It'll be another good week.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. Well, friends, church is at 9:30.
Yes.
And we would love to see you.
Yes, come to church, 9:30. God bless you all.